Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing a Revs update after the first half of their preseason trip in Marbella, Spain. Now, a couple weeks ago I did a preview of the 2019 season as well as a review of 2018, and so it made sense that since they just are heading home today from Marbella, Spain for the first leg of preseason, that I'd do a recap from that first half. The first piece of news that came out from this trip in Spain actually was the day before the very first game against Shanghai Shenhua, and that was the official announcement of Carles Gil on a deal to the Revolution. Now, nothing's been confirmed, but it's reported it was a 2-year deal, and it was $2 million the Revolution paid to get him from Deportivo La Coruña, which is a record for the Revolution, so it's a big little signing for them. And obviously he did not play the first game, but he did make his debut in the second one. Some other transfer news, there was the official word that Bojan Krkic is staying at Stoke City. He was linked heavily to the Revolution, but did not end up making the move to New England, and he seems to be very happy over at Stoke, and he's going to be trying to get game time over there, so it's a bit of a miss out for the Revolution. And there's one more little piece of transfer news that came out, and that was 2 different loan possibilities from the Revolution, and the Revolution were apparently in talks with Queen's Park Rangers over in the English Second Division, and they were linked to 2 young American center backs, Nico Hamalainen, who's also Finnish, and Giles Barnes, who's also English. So those 2 young center backs were linked to the Revolution, and Giles Phillips, who I'll get to later on, is apparently very close to signing with the Revs, and that announcement should be coming in the next couple of days based on what I've read online. So hopefully that happens. We need some center backs. He'll make the 4th center back with Mancien, Anibaba, and De La Mea, so should be a good signing, hopefully. Now moving on to the games. The first game the Revolution played this preseason was a nice game against Shanghai Shenhua. It was a very early start time here in the U.S., so didn't get a chance to really follow it, but the game ended up being a 0-0 draw. It was, again, first game, Revolution getting off innocent. Shanghai's also in their preseason, so not a lot going on. Cropper and Knighton were the 2 goalies, with Cropper being the first half and Knighton being the second half. And on his first game, but later on in the game, there was a couple of good chances. Tajon Buchanan, the Generation Adidas draft pick from the Revolution, had a chance that was really close, and shortly followed by Justin Rennick doing some great work down the wing to try and center the ball, but no one got onto it. So it's a little bit of an impressive start from the young guys who are trying to fit into the team. But yeah, it was the first game, so not a lot was going on. In the second game, the Revolution played the Czech champions, Victoria Pilsen, and that game ended up being a 2-2 draw. And now the Revolution had a good start with Christian Pinilla finishing off a goal from Carles Gil, who's made his debut. It was a great ball from Gil down the left wing to Pinilla, who just did what he does best, took the goalkeeper on and beat the keeper. That was in the first half. Then in the second half, it was Brian Wright getting himself a goal. And that was off of a nice little play from turnover in midfield. Enking and Fagundes picked up the assist, with Enking playing it to Fagundes, who sent in Wright down the right side, and he again calmly beat the keeper. Now, the Revolution were 2-0 going into the last 10 minutes. When the 82nd minute, it was a penalty kick conceded, and the shot was hit hard. Knighton was not able to make the save, and it made it 2-1. A couple minutes later, the stereotypical goal the Revs concede for the cross on the right side, going to the far post, and it's finished there. And now, that was a bit of a tough one, going from 2-0 up to tying, but against a very good team who did beat Roma in the Champions League. And obviously the goalies for that game were Turner and Knighton. Turner played the first half and had a very solid outing, while Brad Knighton appeared the second half and did concede both goals. Not necessarily a fault for both, but wasn't a good play. Now, actually, on that last goal, it was more on Somi and Bai, who were the fullbacks at the time, where Bai was a little bit slow to cover his man on the back post, and Somi let his man get a crossing. Obviously, that game also was the debut of Carles Gil, and he only played for a little bit, and he impressed a lot, obviously getting that big assist early on. So there's a lot of good signs to look forward to with Carles Gil. Alright, following those 2 draws against Shanghai Shenhua and Victoria Pilsen, which did come on back-to-back days, the Revolution had a day off and then ended up playing against another team who is very good this year, who is in the Europa League getting ready for their knockout round game, and it's FC Krasnodar, in the Russian league, who are currently near the top of their standings, which is another very tough test. And the game ended being a 2-0 defeat to the Russian team. Now, in the game, again, it was Turner and Knighton in goal. Turner played the first half, Knighton played the second half, just like against Pilsen. And both goals did come in the second half of the game, so Knighton was in goal. The first one was a deflected free kick that was hit hard off the head of one of the Russian teammates, and ended up going right past Knighton, who got wrong-footed because of the deflection. And the second goal was by the guy who took the initial free kick. He hit it top corner from the top of the box. Not much Knighton could do, but it's not looking good that he's allowed all 4 goals this preseason at this point. And one other really cool thing here was that the trialist made his first appearance. Now, there was a trialist who hasn't been named by the club, but is well known, at least on social media, to be Giles Phillips, the QPR young American defender, who is going to likely be loaned to the Revolution for the season. Now, he should be able to get some game time, and that's the only reason why he would be loaned to the Revs from QPR. However, I don't know if he'll be able to get a lot of game time just because of the fact that there's Alibaba and De La Mea ahead of him, with Mancienne being the lone starter who's guaranteed, in my opinion. And then another thing with that game against Krasnodar was the return of Luis Caicedo and Juan Agudelo from injuries. Both players did not appear in the first 2 games, along with Elliot Jones and Nicolas Firmino. However, Caicedo and Agudelo did appear against Krasnodar. Caicedo was much more limited. He's probably the one who's further away from game time compared to Juan Agudelo. But it was good to at least see them both back on the field and getting back into training after their injuries. So hopefully they'll be healthy enough by the time the season starts in a couple weeks. And the last game of the preseason the Revs played, at least in Spain, came against the Ukrainian second-place team right now, who is also in the Europa League, as well as Pilsen and Krasnodar. And that is Dynamo Kiev, who are second place at Shakhtar Donetsk in the Ukrainian League. So they're one of the powerhouses of the nation, always between them and Donetsk to be the top team. And the Revolution started slow this game. They went down in the first half. It was another cross from the right side. This time it was Castillo playing left back. It went to Andrew Farrell's side on the right, where actually it was Mancienne who was on the man who got the ball in. But it was another standard cross that the Revs concede that they need to work on before the season begins. But yeah, they went down into the half 1-0, and early second half, once Turner was in, a bit of a sloppy play. De La Mea with a back pass to Turner, who misplayed it, forcing De La Mea to foul the attacker in the box for a penalty kick. Luckily, Turner made a great save, diving down to his left, pushing the ball off the post and out of play, to keep it a 1-0 game. And then later in that second half, the Revs came alive. Juan Agudelo and Cristian Pinilla both started. They both combined for a big goal to tie it at 1. Pinilla got the ball on the left flank, whipped a right-footed cross in, and Juan Agudelo getting his head on the ball. He's got a knack for that in the past. He made it 1-0 for his first goal of preseason. And then in this a little bit later on, the Revs made some subs, making full wholesale changes apart from the goalkeeper. And the first goal of this little series, made it 2-1, was actually by the newcomer Carles Gil for this first goal of the Revolution. Again, with a pretty poor clearance, and the ball just kind of fell around. Renix and Zahibo both grabbed the assist on the play. Very good play. Renix played Zahibo, who sent it to Gil, who shot a low left-footed shot, just sneaking by the keeper. We're just inside the right post. Bit of a soft one for the keeper to allow, but the Revs will take it. They made it 2-1. Gil with his first goal of the club. And in the late stages of the game, Diego Fagundes with a moment of magic to make it 3-1. This was a really poor clearance from the Ukrainian team. And when the ball was cleared, not enough. Kind of felt like to Gil a little bit. Now, there was no assist given, but I would have given him the Gil because he made a little pass to Fagundes, who then decided to take on his man, megged him, and decided with the outside of his right foot, since he even said himself he has no left foot, just beat the keeper to the far post. It was a moment of magic from that young Uruguayan, who is looking like he's very happy to be here at the Revolution, and he'll be giving all his all this year, compared to what happened last year with Lee Win. And again, in this game, it was Cropper and Turner in goal, so Cropper was the goalie who was the one who conceded the first goal, but Turner, again, he made the big penalty kick save to make this 1-0 game still, allowing the team to fight back. It's also a very good sign that the team is not willing to give up. They're just going to keep fighting no matter what it takes to get the result. Even Friel said that the first couple games were fitness. He said that they wanted to make sure the culture of winning is set in, and they went out and did that with that game against Kiev, who was, in my opinion, the best team the Revs faced this all preseason. Even though their value is lower than Krasnodar, they have always been a powerhouse, especially in the Ukrainian league. So I'm very impressed to see how they did that game. Looking forward to see what they can do while they're back in Florida. All right, now talking about some of the players that played in that game throughout all preseason, there was two players who actually did not make any appearances, and that was homegrown signing Nicholas Firmino, and I'm not sure why he didn't play. Perhaps he's injured, or who knows why, but he didn't appear in any games. And the other player who did not make any appearances was one of the academy players, 15-year-old goalkeeper Elliot Jones. Now, he is a very young, promising goalkeeper in the academy, but they're using him to get some camaraderie with three goalies who are getting the game time to figure out who's the number one. There was another academy player present in training with Jones, and that was Tyler Freitas. Not sure how to pronounce the last name, but he appeared in the first two games. He played right back in both those games before the trialists, because when the trialists came, Freitas did not play, but he did play right back the first two games, which made Farrell a center back, which caused a lot of concerns in the Revolution camp, at least for fans, saying how they're forcing Farrell center back again, which is not good because it means we had a lot of issue center back depth. Then obviously about the trials in, Farrell went back to right back. So looking forward to that one again. But it was good to see the two youngsters getting some game time in and also just getting some practice and time with the first team. Enjoying a little trip to Spain as well. And now, after having seen all four of the preseason games, or at least followed them online and seen the highlights, the lineup seems to have not been confirmed, but it's looking a little more apparent. The Revs, they have trying different formations out. As in the games, they tried a 4-4-2 and the 4-2-3-1, both of them. Now, I personally really like the 4-4-2 situation, as the wingers can push forward to make a really good attack, while the two center mids can kind of step back a bit and help out the back four, which is still quite a little bit soft. But after seeing those first games out, looking at Turner's going to be the number one. Didn't concede any goals in preseason. Had a big few saves. And in defense, I'm looking at Castillo and Farrell be the fullbacks. By and Tilling neither had outstanding preseasons. Castillo linked well with Pinilla on the left, which is going to be a really good thing for the Revs going forward. And Farrell was okay. He didn't have the best preseason, didn't have the worst. Now at center back, I'm saying Mancien starts, and I think that's the obvious one. And the one next to him, I'm saying Anibaba at the moment, purely because Delamere was a bit sloppy. He did concede the penalty kick in the last game against Kiev that was stopped by Turner. But he's definitely within the hunt to the start, but I don't. Right now, I say Anibaba gets it over him. And looking at midfield, the Revs, again, they could be doing a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2. No one knows yet. Now, I think Pinilla is going to be a guaranteed starter as the left winger. Left side, he's a great job out there. He's obviously MVP last year. He didn't have a good year again. Now, Caicedo, currently injured. I won't be surprised if he doesn't start early in the season just because of injury. But he is my go-to guy right now to be in midfield. Next to him, I'm saying Scotty Caldwell because he had a very good preseason. And another thing, for the first few games, it was Mancien and Caldwell. Both were wearing the captain's armband at different times. In the last game, they were both on the field at the same time, and the armband went to Caldwell, which is a sign, I believe, that Scott Caldwell will be the next captain of the team, which I'm all for. I think he's been around the club a long time. I'm very happy with that. I think him or Farrell should get it. Personally, Mancien should not, purely because I don't want to repeat what happened with Diallo going to last year, how first full season being given the captain's armband, and now Diallo's not on the team, so don't want that to happen with Mancien as well. And now, also, I think Fagundes is going to have a good year. I think he had a really good goal in the last game, had a fairly solid preseason so far, and I see him starting on the right side or possibly as a false nine, because I think the 4-4-2 that the Reds play, the second striker will be a bit withdrawn, almost like a attacking mid, and he could also play on the right wing. Now, the other player who could be that false 9 or the attacking mid if we do 4-2-3-1, is Carlos Heel. Now, he's our record signing. There's no reason he would not be starting unless he's injured. And he had I think he had a very solid preseason. Obviously got a goal and assist, very impressive passing, even helped out defensively, which was something that people were knocking him a little bit later. And now, hopefully he'll keep that up with that press, but it'll be interesting to see. He'll be a starter for me. And the last starter, I think, will be Juan Fernando Caicedo up top. Now, he didn't have the best preseason. He did score a goal, but it was called back for a handball or offsides in one of the games. It was a really close one, not too sure, but they said no goal, so. But I think he'll be starting as a striker. He's definitely an out-and-out number 9. Training videos, he looks like he can finish fairly well. But he definitely will be challenged by Juan Agudelo, who he had probably one of the best preseasons of all the Reds players. Even though he was injured for the first 2, he had a very strong appearance, especially in the last game, getting that goal. Very active against Krasnodar as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him be like one of the top subs. And now the other player who I think probably, there's 2 players who also had really good preseasons, who are, in my opinion, very close to getting the game time, is Cody Cropper. Apart from the goal he conceded in the game against Kiev, he had a very solid preseason, had some huge saves, including a double save in one of the games. I think he's definitely past Knighton to be the number 2 goalie behind Turner, but I think Turner's still number 1. And then the other player who I think had the best preseason was Justin Rennicks. We got him as a homegrown signing out of Indiana University, so he's going to be, I think he's going to get a lot of game time throughout the season as come off the bench. Then later on he could even be a starter, because he was everywhere in preseason. The first game, he had some great chances, linked up well. He just all around had some really good speed and skill, which the Revs definitely have been lacking a bit in the past. So he could be a really good complement to Pania down the line. And as well as him, Tajon Buchanan also had a fairly strong preseason. Not to the same level as Rennicks, but he did have a very good one. So yeah, there was this little recap of the Spain trip part of the trip. Now the Revolution today, which is February 8th, they're flying back from Spain to the U.S., and on Tuesday the 12th, they're going to be heading down to Florida, to the IMG Academy in Bradenton, and they're going to be having 4 more games there. They're playing against Louisville City, who knocked us out of the U.S. Open Cup last year. Then they're going to play 2 games at Orlando City Stadium against Orlando City and Minnesota United for a little invitational there. And they end preseason with a game against Reykjavik from Iceland, which will be an interesting game to see. And then after that, they'll be coming back to New England for the season to start March 2nd down in Dallas. Yeah, that's it. I'll have another video after preseason, see if there's any updates once they announce any more signings. And also, because I'm going to an event in the next couple of days where they're going to be having the coach Friel's going to be there, the president, GM, and also Mancien. They're all going to be there, getting to talk to them, ask questions. So if anything really interesting happens, I can let you all know. Yeah, so that's it for me, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.